Established in April 2021, Upland Development United is an exclusive property development collaborative for the Upland Metaverse. If you're a bigger picture and loyal team player who has a great sense of humour and is looking to get more engaged in a diverse and experienced team, you can help us and we can help you. Contact Morecheese or Ben68 for more information. Warning, all opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved.
The UDU, Upland Development United, installed their neighborhood nodes throughout the entirety of Upland. Their reach was unmatched.
G'day and welcome to UDU team meeting number 27. Today is, October 14th for
Today is
you
Hat
people
Day.
in the past. Hat Day, yes, as you will see, as a few people jump in. My name's Ben68 and we got a few of our main members here today. Thank you for jumping in and getting involved. We're going to just have a quick look at the tier 1 floors. There's not a lot of action going on. San Francisco has bumped up a little bit from 18.8k to 19.8k. It's still floating around here, there and everywhere as people look to flip out and make some profits. With Nashville coming online, I expect all of these are going to take a pretty hefty drop. I think people spent quite a lot of UPEX in New Orleans chasing that vanilla. There were some big winners and, of course, some big losers. Manhattan steady at 44k, which is kind of good to see. Chicago still floating around that 4.4k, 4.4, 4.5. There and everywhere. And Santa Clara continues to dive. It's gone from 15k to down into the high 13s, low 14s, that's kind of area. Some people did have some big wins in Santa Clara. We'll speak to that a bit later. But first up, it's over to Cheese for the update on the very first UD only Spark Train number 6.
Hello. All right. Well, we're doing pretty good. We started officially on Monday. I mean, we get usually a head start Sunday night, but we're already up to the fourth, the 4th out of 10th build, and that's halfway done. I see Ben calculating over there. Yeah. So hopefully by mid next week we can start another one. I'm gonna go out on a limb and just kind of put that out there.
Yeah, I was just going to see when my one gets finished. I think it must be pretty soon.
I could check right now with this beautiful bot.
I'm faster. 2 days basically. 1 day, 23 hours. Which is cool. So yeah, they'll start pumping out pretty quickly after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did have a bunch of people missed out on the nominations, and that's part of the next thing I want to talk about is maybe there's a better way that we can streamline that, the Spark Train notifications for the nominations specifically. Now, Bob did raise a good point that we talked about this, it was coming up, in the last 3 meetings, and it's almost always on a weekend that nominations go live. So, kind of it's a bit on you, but there's definitely ways that we can improve it. I think what we'll probably do, rather than blasting at everyone's all the time or at his, which don't seem to be working that great, I think we'll probably make better use of our at Spark Train role. So I'll put the call out in, or maybe somebody else can do that today because I'm going to be flat out at work. I'll put the call out to nominate yourself for that at Spark Train role. So, we're not going to be annoying the hell out of everybody. Might be a good idea at the same time to ask if people want to be included in the at team meeting. So again, I can, before we do these team meetings, I can put our at team meeting blast out. So I don't know. What do you think?
Sounds good. I'm gonna just start giving people the at Spark who's in the train. Since we only have like 10 people and maybe 5 donators.
Yeah. And yeah, we should say thank you to those people that missed out on nominations. plenty of people just said, oh, well, I'll just bung it in on a donation. So yeah, thank you very much for that, because that definitely helps speed things up. Yep. We weren't really sure how this first train was going to go. There was a bit of toing and froing with the numbers between Cheese and myself. Is it going to run? Is it not going to run? But yeah, the numbers ended up being quite good for only that many properties. So yeah, well, what was it? 10 properties in 18 days. Well, with the extra donations, that's going to drop that down a little bit. So
a lot of it.
Yeah, we definitely don't want to be overextending ourselves back over, up near the 30-day mark or anything like that. I think, 20 days is probably, you don't want to go further than that.
I don't want to go further than 10. Like, if
Well,
we can get this done by, like, next Wednesday, I'll be very happy.
Yeah. Yeah, Dub's just asked, is it hat day today? Yes, it is, apparently. We just kind of all evolved. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I was late to the game. I didn't have a hat, so I had my Pikachu hat behind me. I didn't want to be left out, so I just threw it on.
Got a bit of cardboard. You can make a brim real quick.
Do I need a brim? It's like hat day. We didn't say ball cap day or brim day.
Fair enough. Touche.
Touche.
So yeah, we'll put the call out for if you want to be added to the role of Spark Training Team meeting, and that should hopefully alleviate some of the problems. Maybe for our onboarding, we can include that in the onboarding process. When people go through vetting, one of the questions we ask is, are you over 18, blah, blah, blah. Well, at that stage, that early stage, we can say, do you want to be in that Spark Train role or the team meeting role? And then, people won't slip through the cracks.
Or people could just watch our team meetings and know when we do stuff.
There's that too. or be engaged and see what's going on. So yeah, there's definitely a case of that. What did I have next? Reflecting on the concept nomination priority. I don't even know what that means. What did I write? So yeah, for the trains, we know that you had to nominate within a set priority. So if you had any Midtown terraces, you had to put that first. If you didn't have a Midtown terrace, well, you went, do I have any Lone Mountains? If so, you nominated that. If you didn't have a Lone Mountain, do you have a school? Nominate that. If you didn't have a Midtown terrace, a Lone Mountain, or a school, then you could nominate for any of the mini nodes. I don't know. Was it clear why we're doing that?
Well, I mean, we're all in UDU, right? We all want to succeed, and to succeed, we all have to kind of help each other out. It's not a kind of thing where, like, if you want to go on your own, you can go on your own. It's fine, whatever. But we're united. We're developing together. We have 3 main nodes. One is almost filled. Why not complete it? I understand that in LMU, a lot of it, I got a few feedbacks that people didn't want to build a small townhouse because that's what it fits. So they would go to do something else. All right, that's fine. You could do that, but like, we can't force you to do anything. But for the sake of the community, for the sake of filling up these nodes and creating these collections, like, if 2 are more filled in than 1, like if we have 1 like that was the original and then followed, why not follow in order? We're all going to get them done. Who cares what gets done first? I don't know. A lot of people didn't care for that. A lot of people didn't want to follow that. And again, like I said, free will, you can't, I don't own a gun. I can't put it to anybody's head.
Yeah, my biggest concern was I don't want us to have a string of unfinished projects. We're always going to have some new shiny thing to chase. If we're constantly chasing that, we're never going to finish anything.
Mm-hmm.
With that kind of priority system, it focuses our attention into getting some projects finished. Like Midtown Terrace is not going to finish for 2 years. It's going to take me at least 2 years to build out 300 properties, but we can get a fair whack of that done. And same with Lone Mountain. I think I've got 120 properties there. That's going to take me, probably another year to get that fully built out. So yeah, all of my focus is going to be there. Like I want to get S Longwood Drive built out. I think that's going to look great, but I'm probably looking at, there's probably 3-4 years before I even get to building there. So when we talk about, the UDU is all about long-term development. It's not a joke. It's not something we just throw out flippantly. It's, these things take time to see through to fruition. You got to be willing to put that time in. Did anybody else want to speak to that? Because I know that was a bit of created a bit of contention.
Yeah, people should also know the background stories about those nodes, because we also talked to Podex, who is really spending a lot of money to make sure that the ownership percentage even increases. And you said it in a couple of meetings previously that it's also a bit of a joint cost thing, right? I mean, Apex or Podex, a node manager, he spent so many US dollars and Apex into that, and people should also know that, and he should also deserve a lot of credits in like right now in the meeting. So it's not like you can just say, oh, thank you, and I'm going to nominate another property. I mean, you should also know the background story about it. It's a big investment, and yeah, that.
Yep. And the one caveat was that if you're a node manager, you can focus on your own area. Now, we're yet to see how that plays out. Obviously, we can't have every single person in the UDU just create your own mini node and then they just go off and do that. But then, there's got to be some kind of middle ground in there somewhere. Like that will evolve and play out however it does. We'll just play that by ear, so to speak. But yeah, anybody else want to chime in?
Well, I just want to mention that Ben took me down from a cliff I was about to jump off of, because at one point I was going to derail the train. I was very upset because I noticed some people later in the train were getting taken care of rather than earlier, and it's just like if like, all right, I take my time to put these trains together to kind of take care of everybody as a whole. If you're going to do your own thing anyway, you might as well just do your own thing. I almost made it where it was a, each node has their own train and you just take it over. And whatnot. I was like, Ben, we'll just stay in MTU and let everyone do whatever they want to do. But then he's good at calming me down, because he may whine in public, but I whine in private to him, poor Ben. And he's really good at being fair and the scale and whatnot. And he kind of talked me down from that ledge. So I'm willing to kind of like still see it out. But yeah, I mean, we have to come together and just finish what we started. Like Ben put a lot of work in MTU. That was the beginning. Like Podex put a lot of work and whatnot into LMU, and Upland put a lot of work in school. Like, why can't we just focus on one and then go down the line? I understand if you don't have in MTU or if you don't have an LMU, it's fine. But if you do, let's try to kick it out. Like, we're going to be doing these trains really fast. Why not? All right, I'm done.
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, well, it's my main concern was that I didn't want to see the team fracturing into little cohorts. Not when we've just gone through a rebuilding phase and we're only just kind of coming together as it is now. I think that'd be to the detriment. I mean, it may be that we evolve into that in the future, but yeah, just at this onset, let's just try and stick together and see how it plays out. But as always, we're not shy to throw things in the bin and pull it out again and shake it out and dust it off and hose it off and see what happens. It'll play out however it plays out. But, yeah. All right. The wine of the week. Does anybody want to take this one over? I didn't really dive into it too deeply myself because it all happened when I was asleep. I woke up and everyone's blowing up. Oh, whoops! The team accidentally released a whole bunch of Santa Clara collection properties that were labelled as FSA, and still no explanation. Anybody have any more details other than that? Nope, not a shaking heads. Now there was somebody said something that they dialed back the number of FSAs somewhere else, or there was something happened where they rejig some properties in New Orleans or something, which may have triggered this, or I don't know. I mean, how do you accidentally do that? It's kind of mind blowing.
I think it's just an intern
As we
that
always
did
say.
it again.
Yeah.
Well, it was Haynes Boulevard in New Orleans that had some FSA above 100,000 JPEGs, so they had to change that. So
yeah,
and I think someone accidentally switched another one as well.
Uh-oh.
toggled the wrong switch. And there were some big winners. I think Dizzy was one of the ones that went over and cleaned up. And yeah, there was a few people that got straight on there. I think UDUA, he managed to grab a few. People grabbed straight on the plane and they had enough time to get on the plane, get over there, disembark, and yeah, gobble up all of those tasty, cheap collection properties, which that's going to play out pretty well for them long term. So yeah, whoops. But it's kind of crazy that there's been no explanation unless they're still trying to work out what happened themselves.
We keep reminding them, and I'm sure we will have an explanation someday.
Yeah, someday.
Yeah, but not even an explanation, but they can just announce it, like make an announcement like, hey, we screwed up. I mean, then you are transparent. I mean, transparency is everything nowadays with big, enterprises and stuff. And you can just say, hey, we did this, that happened. I also heard that some collection properties that were not, well, I'm looking at some people here. There was a collection property, a non-collection property that they just turned into a collection property.
Yeah, that's right. Mm.
Why don't you give us an update? I mean, then I don't. Yeah, of course, an explanation would be nice, but just be transparent and say, hey, we did this. Sorry about this. I don't know, something like that.
So that's talking about the New Orleans collection reveals, where some properties, once it was revealed, some properties didn't have the ultra rare label or something, and then 30 minutes later suddenly had them, but some people had already sold. Oof. Cheese is evil and just thinks it's hilarious. Yeah. You're letting the mask slip, Cheese. Yeah. So yeah, that's got to sting like hell. That does. Wow.
Well,
but yeah.
To be fair,
yep.
We saw in Chicago and other cities that they tend to drop way later, and of course that is still stupid. And but when you did your research, you bought a prop that is haunted or a jazz venue, and you're gonna sell it when there's a jazz collection without fighting for it. I'm not 100% sure if you're, in the right place and at the right time.
Yeah, you almost have to preempt incompetence. You got to just have a little bit of wiggle room for there's something's going to go wrong. So yeah, maybe hold on to it for an hour or two. But then it's kind of tricky if you don't sell it at the time. You lose out on that bonus. I know, what was that, Sofa Fair or however you say his name, was kind of had a bunch of properties that he thought might be ultra rare, but he's going to dump them before the collections were revealed. Yeah, that's part of the fun of vanilla.
I love vanilla.
Well, you can talk about this next bit, Cheese, the win of the week, New Orleans collections. From all accounts, you did pretty well.
I did. I when they say when something bad happens, something good happens, and I wasn't able to mint any of the Bourbon Streets at the time of the open. Every one that I tried to get was like, oh, someone already has this or this or that, blah, blah, blah. So I saw this big fat property right in the middle of the French Quarter. And I was like, all right, forget it. I'm just going to get this one and leave. So I bought it. And when they announced, and I got a Decatur, not even knowing Decatur might have been something, but it was a cute brewery. So I was like, hey, I got some Royals because in my head I felt like that was going to be something. I got some St. Charles because I felt like in my head that was going to be something. But when the collections came out, I didn't get a check right away on my French Quarter, but I'm not going to sell it because I like the dividends, and it's in the French Quarter, So like an hour later, I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was Hawaiian or Teddy that was like, oh, congrats on your ultra rare. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, do you know something I don't? And he's like, go look at it. And I'm looking, and there's a big fat check there. And I'm like, nice. That's pretty cool. So it's a jazz venue.
Anybody else have a win?
Quite a few. I mean, I got
Yeah, Nub did
out of
good.
one place, and I got an accidental mint that turned out to be ultra rare in the end. A
You
haunted
got like
place.
5, right? 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 ultra rares, and the one I tried to mint was a cemetery across the street, and I bought it because it was the closest prop, and then it turned out to be ultra rare. I
I love
mean,
vanilla.
yeah, my luck is just crazy these days. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I just, because I only minted when I woke up for a toilet break in the middle of the night. I grabbed 3 on Lake Drive or something like that. I just happened to grab those 3 because that's kind of where I was, and that was it, and that turned out. But other than that, I didn't really dive into the secondary. Corey, you went a bit hard in the secondary buying up collections, didn't you? Or were they all from vanilla grabs?
Well, I got a lot of canal. I got like, I think 7 or 8 canals, and then I used those to trade for the other collections. And I kept my McDonald's and my Burger King. So now I'm a burger
Team
magnet
fast
on Canal
food.
Street.
Yeah.
I'll never be hungry in Canal.
Nice.
Coming over for French fries.
Cool. Alrighty. Next thing on the agenda is node stacking update. We have talked about this leading up to New Orleans, like potentially, squirreling some UpX away for a new node. I've done pretty good at that myself. I was putting a bunch of money away for, Spark rental and that sort of thing, but I'll speak to that a bit later. That's all changed. So I'm sitting at just under 3 mil stacked, ready to go. And I know a few other people are working on their balances. How did we go? Did we survive intact with any sort of balance? I know Finn's not on the call, I don't think, but he managed to increase his. No, I'm seeing a lot of head shakes. Yeah, and we know that's always going to happen. There's so many other things to go for it. It's always going to be tough. But
What was the question?
How are you going with your escrow amounts for potentially the new node?
I have almost 200K.
Yeah. So I probably think between everybody we're probably in maybe the 5 million range, if I had to guess. Maybe 6 at a stretch, something like that. Kind of leads into the main point that I wanted to speak about was, going for a node. Now we know Nashville's coming up. I personally have no interest whatsoever in Nashville or what it's about or anything like that. I've got no interest in it myself. And I've started thinking, do we really need another full neighborhood node? Now, going back to what we spoke about earlier, if we're to claim a new neighborhood node, that's probably very realistic that we're not going to get to building that within 3 years. Is that something we want to be diving into? I don't know. There's a lot of new members on board that haven't been a part of that kind of push to buy out an area, and that's quite fun. It's it's cool, but yeah. Is it relevant? Is Nashville relevant? Is that somewhere where we want to focus our efforts?
Who else was going to talk?
Well, I think it depends. I mean, if a member just pops up and say, "Hi, I have this very cool idea. Can you guys help me?" Then for sure, I think I can save some UpX for that. But I think it all depends on stepping up. Who steps up? Who has a plan? And when there's a cool plan, yeah, we can help, I think. But when there's not a big plan, then I'm just trying to flip properties to gain UpX and eventually also rent some Spark to build also on the UDU train.
Yeah, it's like my heart's definitely not in it myself. Sorry, no.
No problem at all. It will also depend on neighborhood sizes and if it's vanilla or not. I mean, if it's a vanilla release, obviously a lot of neighborhoods will be targeted or specific props will be targeted, and you have more difficulty to secure a node than in a standard release. So that's also very important to keep in mind. So yeah, I'm personally not that interested in Nashville. I thought New Orleans was, well, more important, so to say. So yeah, I'm okay. I will definitely put some UPX if we decide to go for a node, but it will all depend on how they release and if anyone really wants to go for it. Because I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna join in, but I'm not taking the lead here.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of people in the same boat, and Bob's kind of right. There's nobody chomping at the bit, you know, raising the flag, saying let's go for it. Cheese.
So Musita and I were talking before the meeting, and he has something very interesting in Kansas. I don't want to say what it is right now because this meeting is going to go public and I don't want anyone to go raw. But him and his girlfriend have a good amount of properties there. I'd say a little more than half. We could talk to him offline after this meeting and see if we're interested. It's a great amount of it's not too many properties, so it might be something that's good if most of it's still unminted.
Cool.
So, and me personally, I'd rather, since we have a node on the West Coast, I'd really love to have something on the East Coast. So if something like, Florida or Atlanta or one of the Virginias open up, or even like, the North, like Maine or whatnot, that would be really cool to have a, or Boston. If Boston opens up, definitely. Would love to have a node there. That way we could have something on the West Coast and the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't think we should ever run for a node just for the sake of doing it, because it's not going to play out well long term. Musita's name is the same in game, isn't it? So anybody who's listening is going to reverse rip it on the blockchain. So let's hold off on making this meeting public for a day. I wasn't going to be able to upload this one straight after the meeting anyway, because I have to fly off to work. So yeah, we can put that out in the call once we stop recording, and we can head over and I won't upload this till tomorrow, and then that gives us 24 hours to get over there and see what we can get. But yeah, I definitely don't think it's worth running for a node unless there's a big interest and someone stepping up to lead it. I would personally, I'd rather keep stacking and get to 10 million ready to go for the first international or something like that. That's probably closer to me, to where I'm looking, but we'll see. We won't write it off entirely. As Nub said, it depends on a whole bunch of factors, so we'll play it by ear. So yeah, keep saving if you can. There's a lot happening in chat there. All right, so yeah, we'll follow up with that, and we'll just work it out as it goes along. We're going to get information about the FSA number, and if it's 20% straight off the bat, that might write it off from the get-go. Who knows? That might be the norm now, is that 20% FSA, because they seem to have done away with the tier system. So who knows? We'll see how we go. All right, wine and cheese update. Where we at, cheese?
Doing? I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm Jon Snow.
I'll bring up NFTs. Maybe that'll help.
Oh yeah. Bring up my MFT. My MFT.
MFG. Oh, what's happening? Sorry.
My MSG.
I don't know. Is that up? No. What? Did I share screen or did I not?
It says Ben has started sharing screen.
But
then black. I just see like a black screen.
The darkness.
Oh, my computer's going to freak out. Now I've got a white screen. Is that it there?
No.
Yeah, my computer's going to die, cheese. So
don't die. Don't die.
Oh, hang on. Now we're right.
You got it.
Oh, I'm getting low system resources. I might be in trouble here. Where is it? There she is. Morecheese wax.
13. I have that many. I gotta slow down.
Yeah, come on, computer. So yeah, we missed out on the episode 1 of the Wine and Cheese show. That was Lil
was a
created
Lil
that
one.
one. Yeah, so that's not here. But then we had Banana, him and Sim. So am I right in thinking those are all gone?
No, I all right. So when I first started making the episodes, I figured I wanted everybody to be able to get an NFT if they wanted to of the episode. So I think I created quite a few of the first 3.
Yep.
And then I started scaling it down. So I think when we get to the icon one, I only made 250 of those.
Yep.
And for the left house one, I only made 100.
Yeah, and it's been incredible to watch your art progress from you haven't been doing it for that long. And yeah, like I just come up with these crazy ideas and then next minute you're pumping out this awesome stuff. So yeah, so we had the Cody one, we had the Colosimo one, Goodwill, the Icon one, and yeah, Left House and Emmett.
See if you could click on the left house one because I was able to make the blood move.
Oh, my computer will die. I can try.
All right, I don't want you to die though.
It's very slow, isn't it? Like it's hard to notice it, but when you do notice it, it's kind of cool.
It's like a bubbly sort of thing.
Well, yeah, no, I'm going to shut that down. My computer's going to die. If you want to see the blood, get a hold of Cheese and get yourself one of those cool NFTs because yeah, there's not many this round. So.
All right, yeah, we're in the online in. We have a channel there. If you want to go to the online in and kind of give us some love, that would be great. I like love. Love is good.
All right, and we're recording this time tomorrow with our next guest and that should be a very cool one as well. I got to put my thinking cap on what I'm gonna.
I already have a list. I'll send you what I want to ask if you want to ask some of that as well as your own questions. We always like if we're stuck, Ben will send me stuff to ask and I'll send him and whatnot.
Cool.
We're not that bad.
Yeah, no. But yeah, get hold of Cheese and grab some of those if you can. I think it's gonna, obviously we're gonna keep doing the show. We've set the bar pretty low by calling it the worst show ever, and we're proud of that. So we can't really go wrong. So
exactly.
there's going to be a whole series of NFTs and that, and it's going to turn out pretty cool. What was I going to say next? Oh, Halloween. We've got Halloween coming up. Last year, there was so many little kind of events that the team ran that were really cool, and there was also a whole bunch of community events. Like I think I ran 2 or 3 myself. I'd like to do some stuff within the team, like we've done previously with playing the game and all that sort of stuff. Put your thinking caps on, see if you can come up with something. If you don't have the funds to fund it yourself, just reach out, whether it's UpX prizes or, we can sling I could put an MTU up or maybe an LMU or something like that. Or, there's a bunch of different ways we can play it.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I say best costume, but you can only use paper and cardboard. That way, nobody has to buy anything. You could get cardboard boxes free from the supermarket because they I know when I had to do projects for school, you go, oh, are you throwing any cardboard boxes away? And they would give it to you because they didn't have to throw it away. Or like paper, old paper, newspaper you have laying around. And I think that would be so freaking cute if we could do something like that. And it's cheap.
Sounds like, Coy, you and I need to put our kids to work.
Oh, you guys have the advantage.
We do, yes.
Yeah. I'll put my kids to work.
Well, when is Halloween? Halloween is
the 30th, 31st.
So the next team meeting would be the 26th. All right, well, why don't we organise something like that for the 26th? We'll make that a Halloweeny team meeting thing or something. All right, that's cool. Make sure you follow that up in chat, otherwise I'll forget. Or maybe we can, if you could open up a channel or something like that, Cheese.
All right.
Just
and you're better at words than me. If you want to, if I write something, I'll let you look at it. If you want to write something, you're more than like, I bestow that upon you. If you want to.
Namaste. Sure. Anybody else have some ideas? Oh, we don't. Last year I did like make a story and this, that, and the other.
We could make a story about the outfit. We could do both.
So here we go.
I like that story. I like that.
Yeah.
Creative. Anything creative.
Now we did see the team has followed up with another. What is it? It's part of the Legits, isn't it? This whole Spirit NFT thing. I didn't look into it too deeply myself because I was just gonna, shake and
I got an
tremble.
email.
So, Corey, did you want to speak to that as well?
I would actually. I'm still a little perturbed about the whole thing. I mean, I'm very excited that NFTs are going to be able to be used on our houses and in townhouses and apartments, and that you can dress them up. And I'm very excited that we're going in the right direction in the game as far as the utilization of NFTs in game. However, it almost feels like, okay, so if they had this capability this whole time, why weren't we doing it to further the roadmap, number one? And then number two, I honestly am not sure they can pull it off we went down the NFT road with the Legits and I still don't have my Legits, but now they're promising that we're going to have all this other stuff too, but you haven't made good on the last promise. And I hate to be negative because I'm very much an optimist and I wouldn't be playing this game or be here with everyone if I didn't believe in Uplands. But it's hard. I'm also not going to put my head in the sand and pretend that these aren't challenges that they are not addressing. And I will get off my soapbox.
Devil's advocate. So, I feel like it's the end of the year. They have a lot of stuff they have to get out. They're struggling. They are, in my opinion, I kind of feel like they're doing a lot of stuff. They're putting a lot of stuff out. I like it. I mean, is it perfect? No. I did receive an email about the Legits, and they said that, open up mail.
They said this week.
Well, they said they're minting them today. They're minting them on Thursday, and they'll be delivered by tomorrow. So we'll get them tomorrow, which is pretty cool. So, I mean, I don't know. I think we should cut them a little bit of slack until the new year. If they don't get their act together by the new year, then we can start beating them up again. But I just think we should give them a few more months to kind of get their poo together and see what they can do. And I'm hoping they do well because we're all heavily invested in this game and we want them to do good. And, we should do whatever we can to help them do good.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely want them to succeed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. My biggest gripe is that this year just pales in comparison to what we had last year. Like Halloween was buck wild. We had all sorts of things going on. It'll be interesting to see how we go leading up to Christmas because Christmas was the same. There was all sorts of competitions and we were building freaking Santa Clauses and reindeers on our properties and all sorts of cool stuff. I kind of got my nose out of joint with the Spirit NFT thing for decorating your buildings when they said it was temporary. At first I just threw my hands up and thought, well, I'm not spending money on something that's just a flash in the pan. But then I thought, hang on a minute, if it's an NFT, then surely that stays in your inventory, and then next year you'll be able to use the same thing.
Yeah.
So, and then you're going to kind of have those old school NFTs. Like this time next year, the people that have come in are going to say, well, wow, you've had those early ones. So it kind of goes both ways.
And you don't want any Halloween stuff when there's Valentine's Day or Christmas. It's going to look tacky.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as it's pretty easy to go in and turn it on and off and that sort of thing. It'll be interesting to see if they block it, like so that you can only do it during these events.
I'm sure that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, or that kind of, is it true ownership if you can't do what you want on your own properties? It's kind of...
Well, you can't really do any, like, let's say you're in the neighborhood where you can't have the mailbox a certain amount of space between your lawn and the curb.
Yep.
So, I mean, sure, you own something, but do you really own it? Do you really own your house? Do you really own the property it's on? Come on, Ben.
Well, there's people here that like to leave their Christmas decorations up all year just to piss off the neighbours, I think.
And they can do that in areas that aren't, you know, neighborhood owned and this and the other thing. But like if there's rules in place and you have to, people are paying into these rules and whatnot, then I'd rather have it look pretty and follow a few rules than have it look ugly and be chaotic. But that's only my perception. I'm not saying I'm right and I'm not saying you're wrong, but that's just the way I feel.
Yeah, no, I've definitely come around to the idea, especially when you think about what Coy's talking about, where this whole idea of having an NFT that can accompany your property. Well, yeah, he's right. That's essentially what outdoor decor is. So it's all part of the process. So yeah, I've kind of softened my initial business. So yeah, I'll probably end up getting some myself. Who knows? I do have a little bit of a USD balance there. So
I think we should. I think it would look so pretty. I mean, I don't know. If you can, you can. Did they mention how much it was going to be?
I don't know. I didn't look into it yet.
Do you know, Nub? No.
They only mentioned, I think, $10, or was it $10 for the Block Explorer, and you get 10,000 UpX or something like that. It was either $5 or $10, and then you also get the equivalent amount of UpX plus the Block Explorer.
That's not bad. That's
if
really
you're going to buy
doable.
UpX anyway.
Yeah,
Right.
Exactly. And they have the costume thing coming out on Monday, so that's pretty cool. I mean, for all the stuff they have going on and trying to get these cities out that I think, you know, they were supposed to do but just forgot or messed up somewhere, I think they're doing a good amount of stuff within their reason, in my opinion.
Well, that brought up another gripe, though. I put that in feedback. Like, I submitted a costume for my Block Explorer, but nobody's going to be able to see it because there's giant stacks of collection chips. What's the point? So, it's a bit of a weird one. Peekaboo behind
should
the
be able
collection
to-
chips.
Peekaboo.
You should be able to adjust it yourself. I mean, that would be a good utility.
Yeah, that would be.
That's something we've been asking for at least a year. As the kind of collection swapping boom kind of kicked off, you know, that's been in feedback constantly. Can we get a toggle to hide the collection chips? Or is there some people have come up with great ways to make it go around the Explorer, and there's been heaps of feedback given. I'm not sure that any attention's been put into it, but yeah, it's the Block Explorer parade last year. What happened is, everybody could submit their own design, but the team also did put up these generic things, like there was a bat. So you could have your Block Explorer and then you could just put this little bat on. There was a whole bunch of things. So, and then we had a specific, there was a specific place in San Francisco that once you landed on this property, it automatically put all the Block Explorers in order, and you followed this little, it was like a Block Explorer parade. And there was pinatas that popped up and all sorts of stuff like that. It was pretty cool. But yeah, if we do something similar this year, it's going to be the parade of the collection tokens.
I say give them till next year. See, I think they're going through the list, and I know, like, you know, I mean, it is annoying, you know, you make these beautiful Block Explorers and you want them to be seen, but I don't know. I don't want to keep saying we're still in beta, but we are still in beta.
Yeah, it's just for someone that's been around for a while, it's what is it? Death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's all of these little tiny things that we've been saying, hey, maybe we could do this. It's these little seemingly innocuous things, but when they're all added up, you know, it becomes quite frustrating.
I hear you. No, you're right. I hear you.
But we'll see how it pans out. Should be fun in any event. Won't be boring. There'll always be something going on. That's whether it's good or bad. There'll always be something to talk about. All right, so yeah, wrapping that up, if you can come up with an idea for something to do within the team for Halloween, to go with Cheesy's cardboard box and paper dress up thing, yeah, how about that?
I like the story too. You're right there.
Cool. Couple last things to cover before we wrap up. I was renting 19.8 Spark to build out in MTU. Now, those were private rentals. I was paying a premium for that. I was paying 1,500 UpX per Spark per day, which is kind of the top end of the market. There is some down around the 800, but, you know, I I'm in a position where I can look after my little team. I was willing to do that. It did push the cost of building a townhouse quite high, kind of beyond the market rate, which I was kind of okay with. But the issue that came up was, well, it's really hard to coordinate even a small team of 4 people who are staking. Some people get busy in real life or whatever, and I just can't be paying that rate for 12 hours of downtime. If I'm paying the premium rate, I got to have that spark move. I did put a system in place where I always had the next building ready to go. So I'd put the call out 24 hours in advance. If you can't move your spark when the property finishes, jump it out early so we're not missing any time, but I was still getting downtime. So I paid out all my renters, and I've moved on to the UCC, which stands for the Upland Construction Company. So they've got a system set up where they're kind of the middleman between people who are wanting to rent Spark and people who are wanting to loan Spark. And I've kind of tested out that system. We do have one of the bankers from the UCC on the line. I don't know if he's finished his lunch break. Are you there, Eric?
Yes, I'm here.
Did you want to just briefly speak to the system that you have in place over there?
Yeah, I can give a little detail. So we have set prices per building, paid up front. The building will then get listed on the list for stakers to go and pick where they actually want to put their spark. We don't make them put it anywhere in particular. People can choose how they want. We just only list so many builds at a time for them to choose from. It kind of works out good. You're going to pay around the equivalent of 1,000 uplets per spark per day. And in doing so, you don't have to do anything else. You pay it, and then it's done. You wait on the building to get completed. The people staking their spark are going to get less than that, but what it does for them is that it gives them a way to just go and play spark. They don't have to look for people to pay for it. They just go and do it, and they get paid.
Yeah, it's a very simple system, and I know, like I was speaking to the 2 of the core members when I was negotiating. Originally, I did ask for a 10 townhouse package to be put together, and I shared that with a few people looking at the contract and whatnot. Ultimately, I decided to just dip my toe in a little bit initially, and I've hired the UCC to build out 1 townhouse in Midtown Terrace, and it works out to, I think the price is $105K. So with the burner fees and the 5% transaction fee, it was definitely much cheaper than what I was paying. And it just takes all the logistics of having to manage anything right out of the equation. It's a pretty simple process. You just nominate a property and then they take care of the rest. The only concern that I have that's popped up is the timing of the build out. I would really like to get a property done every week. I've kind of budgeted for that weekly rollover. My property that I have with the UCC is second in the list, but it's a bit less than 10 sparks staked on it at present. So that's going to take well over a week to be built out. So that's my only issue at present. Now, once the building ahead of me gets completed, then, obviously probably a bunch of those people will jump on it, fill it out. I don't know, did you want to speak about that, Eric?
Yeah, so we've got some stuff that we've been working on where we'll do a slightly higher payout to stakers who have been with us and keep their spark staked in projects. And those builds will go into a different list and we'll end up getting like a primary spark put on them, not specifically has to go to this one, but there will be much less congestion in that list. And so that will speed some things up. And also we have spark coming in just more every single day. So it's going to start filling up those builds much quicker. And right at the same time that you started your contract, we also got quite a bit more. So the timing has been a little bit different, but especially with this last spark sale, I mean, people are just coming in and adding more to what they've already had in.
Box just asked in chat, when did the UCC server start up? How long have you been going for?
It's been going longer than I've been there. It was late August, I believe. It really started picking up a whole lot more like the middle of September. There was a CFO that was in charge that has since changed. There's somebody different, and everything kind of picked the pace up real quick once he took over.
Yeah, cool. It seems to be a great platform for a lot of the newer players who only have like 0.08 or 0.1, that sort of stuff. Holy hell, look at that. Hear that? I got an electrical storm kicking in here. So I might be out soon. But yeah, if you're not on the train and you're looking for somewhere to put your Spark and you don't know what to do, yeah, reach out to Eric, or if you have a look in their community posts in Upland General, you'll see that they're always posting their server link and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm just dipping my toe in there. I'm hoping to keep that a recurring thing. If it's going to work out well, yeah, I might look at doing that 10-pack, or that's going to depend on how much Spark they have and that sort of thing. I don't want to flood their channel with stuff to build out as well. So we'll see how we go. All right, I better get out of here before the power goes out. Does anybody have anything else they want to speak to? Are you good? All right.
I can add real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
The package that you mentioned, when those contract deals for 10 builds are done, you're also getting even more of a discount, because on a 10 build package, we're offering an 11th for free.
Yep.
So even if you have groups of people that just want one apiece and you want to go in together, any way it works out, you can end up getting even less than 1,000 upwards per day for your build.
Yeah, it was definitely a good package that was put together for me. And the biggest thing for me was during that whole process, the communication was A1. There was I had a lot of questions and they were answered, very quickly and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm pretty bullish on the whole thing. So I think it's going to pan out well. All right. Thanks everybody. Catch up with you in the next one.